Tumbling is your boy Yank. Shingeki no Kyojin. Okay, so doing well because having a wonderful day on this 18th August 2025. Once again, your boy waited the last second to do a recap. I got 32% of batteries and a whole lot of time for fuckeries. So what I'm gonna do, as simple as meeting you, is we're gonna be doing some recap of a show called Prison. 90 Day Fiance, no. 60 days in, could be closer. Love the lockup. I don't know if there's love in this show, but we're doing Prison Break, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, legend status. We opened the page that I needed, so no need for everything. Now, just to let you guys know, we are season 2, episode 1. Donde están? Pretty good. So without further ado, let's get this shit started. I gotta say, I don't remember where we stopped yesterday, so I'm hoping that we did. And we did Le Transfert. Once again, you guys know that my my Netflix in French. Le Transfer. While Killer Man and Hale are insisting on transferring Michael, this Michael is trying to win some time to put the first part of his plan. To test the first time plan of his plan. I got 30% battery, so I'm thinking I can do episode 1, episode 5 and 6. Opening scenes and more tattoos. And it's the importance of how important it is. So this is brilliance. First scene, Kellerman and Hell, the two governmental agents, if you need me to be precise, which you do, okay, cool. They're the two federal agents that we know. Talking to the Pope, and the Pope, you can see that I'm more in a good mood today. Last couple of days I had a fight with my parents, so not in the best of moods, but hey. This belongs in the past. And what belongs in the past, you know what? What belongs in the past belongs in the past. And you should be happy that such things belong in the past, because that means that they're done. And because they're done, you can move on. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to gain some time. And you guys won't even notice. You guys won't even notice. Because I have to do something. And I forgot to do it. So, apples and bees are filled with mercuries. This is not a scientific fact. It's just a guy that's trying to put on an act. Not a theatrical act like Hamlet and Shakespeare, but a one simply born of despair. We're gonna be doing this and that, hoping to get this and that. We need to do it 3 times. You remember the lines, and then we'll be good. For what? For nothing. Because here lies something. We know it's tier 10, because we did it with the sword. So let the shield begin, and our story end. There you go. You do this because today is the end of the season. Prison Break. Okay. So yeah, so they're talking to the Pope. Now, what is kind of cool is they're trying to blackmail the Pope. With what? With Toledo. So when, in his life, last episode, talk about Toledo, we still had an idea. What is that? Planting a seed to cultivate later. Doesn't matter if it's a later episode, doesn't matter if the next episode, you still plant the seed. So when you say Toledo, I know that something happened there. That was kind of something, somewhat. So we have Jonah Brucey. We see that Michael is there with Lincoln. Now, the funniest thing is, yo no sé por qué, but nobody knows that Lincoln is the brother of Michael. Squirt, El Toronjo, the better drink from Mexico. I would like to open up a scuba dive shop. Gonna reference you're a handsome devil. And if you didn't get that, have you even watched Prison Break, bro? Come on. So Jonah Bruzzi says, hey, and I want to work with him. Now, this is the kind of cool part. And this is why yo amo mucho Sucre. Sucre is there. Sucre is one of the guy that doesn't have problem with anybody. John Abruzzi. I'm always gonna say this because it's season 1, episode 1. Cringiness. It's like, no, I don't want to work with. No, I don't want to work with Lincoln. And then you see Sucre. Hey, what's up, dog? No, he doesn't say what's up, dog, but he's just like, yo, okay, Sucre is there, cool. Now, there's possibly a part of that is, how do I say this? There's possibly a part of that is the fact that they're Sally. So that kind of make more sense. We got the Warren or the Pope and the cell, and we don't know ¿Qué pasó? So yeah, so the thing that's going on here is, guys, remember the two agents were like, we don't want Mr. Michael in your prison. You're going to move it. I don't know why I went to Russian. I think I missed Mother Russia or the KGB, of course. And it was like, yo, Michael, what you not telling me? And Michael's like, no, I don't give a fuck. I'm a badass. So he didn't answer, which makes the whole scene, sorry, a bunch of nothing. So the Pope says they're going to be transferred tomorrow. And then Michael was like, yo, what am I supposed to do? The next scene, however, is kind of nice because we're seeing the Warren and we're seeing the Pope. We're seeing the same person who's taking a picture of Toledo. Now, what happened in Toledo is the fact that he killed his own son because his son was a criminal. His son was in a prison, and Warren was like, yo, you're causing problems. There's a cricket right there. It is 2:50. A bit early, bruh. There's a neighbor watching. I think I'm crazy, but hey. If you think I'm sane, that makes you insane. Right? So a bit of a church. And it's kind of cool because you got Link, who was there and says, yo, I'm really religious. And you got Michael that's like, I don't want to talk to my brother. This is the only place. What a bunch of... If I was the priest, I'm like, hey, in the back, can we stop talking? Just like that. We got a cool scene between Link and Michael. So what they're doing here is kind of como si como sa. So why is it como si como sa? Is como si como sa because you feel, again, it is pushed. You're pushing a narrative. You don't need to prove that Lincoln and Michael were close when they were kids. You don't need to, okay. You gotta need to, because there's gonna be a scene later on how Lincoln was a great brothers, right? So kind of need to put a scene as when you're close. But at the same time, this scene is kind of pointless because you could have just put a scene where they're super close in prison. Now, they put a scene in because Michael said, don't worry, and you get a flashback to his brother saying when his mom died, don't worry. That's what you get. That's what you get. You get Veronica and Nick Fuentes. This is why you remember the name. You don't remember names from Prison Break because they're clever. You remember because they're freaking. What should we call that? they're super easy. Like teabag. The criminals, we call them teabag. You know who else a teabag? The guy from Walking Dead, the guy who got killed. So you got John Abruzzi, and it's like, we need to, it's kind of nice, because John Abruzzi kind of wants to get his payback, which is super cool, because it's like, yo, you kind of owe me stuff, because you made promises, and it's like, well, I'm getting transferred, the fuck am I supposed to do, you know? And then John Abruzzi, which we saw how bad he is, could have taken Michael and said, I'm going to force you to do it, but it's like, just like, okay, yeah, I get it. You got Michael, and this scene is so cool. So this, I work in a workshop. I used to work in a workshop. I've worked in workshops. And this is Michael going to Mr. D.B. Cooper. Now, is that cool? Because it's kind of cool because it kind of got to see, like, okay, well, the Pope is kind of like a boss. We've been working a lot lately, too, which is great. Because money. And Michael in here is kind of like a new worker. When you see the union rep and saying, hey, the boss of the company doesn't make me feel welcome. It's like, oh, this is what you have to do. And then this one is super cool because Michael knows that he's been there for a while. And you know that DB has some privilege. For example, he has a cat. Now, the cat was grandfathered thing, which means it happened more than 10 years ago, and nobody's gonna do this right now but him. And that means when the time comes, this is super cool. This is super cool because this is my favorite. Eres mi preferat moment. So DB is like, yo, you put emotion that you don't feel good about the change. You put emotion because you're sick and they'll have to wait 30 days. And then it's super cool because everybody tells Sucre. This is one of my favorite scenes. And I have a lot of them, so you're gonna watch them and say thank you. Look at this, look at this. They put emotion to
It's gonna take 30 days to process. And that means alright, I'm going in.
That's super cool. You buy it, the friendship. And this is why Prison Break is really good. You don't really buy the friendship between Michael and Abruzzi, but they're not really friends. You buy it between Sucre and the other one, because you need to buy it. So what is that? What happened? What happened here? What the guard fight? Okay. So they fight because they took a bar of soap. So you can have the mold of the key. So you got Michael, and this is what I love. Michael is you see the map. He has the map on his own body, but he's exploring a lot. Why? Because he needs the map. He needs to identify. Like for example, they change a couple of things he needs to see, right? There's a whole last moment where you learn why Michael had a plan, and it's so good. Because he's been transferred to Fox River, and his company, because he was an architect, they made a plan for Fox River, which is great. And so we got more of the whatchamacallit, the scene. This is super cool because you know that guy, right? He's the guy from Fireplace 99. He has hair in this one. I didn't know homie had hair. Just to show how old the show is. So what exactly happened is kind of like a really cool scene, if you ask me. So Lincoln says no, I didn't do it. So you can basically see that he shot the gun. So in the footage you see Lincoln. Okay, so you don't see Lincoln shooting. You see him holding a gun and you hear him shoot. So they added two things to this. They photoshopped two things: lights for the gun and a sound of the gun being fired. Now, the cool thing here is that he comes in and he's like, I don't need to. How can I put this? He comes in and he's like, I don't remember what he says exactly, but he's basically saying like, that gun, because of this echo, because of everything and the sound, it was recorded in another piece, in another place, which means that this sound, if it was in a garage, wouldn't sound like that, which is the proof that that footage was doctored. If the footage is doctored, you can allow it in a court case. So this is really, really odd. However, he said, Fuentes is like, yo, can you testify? It's like, I'll need the original. So I love that the Pope tells Michael, you're thinking like an old inmate. So then they're talking, and it's nice because the Pope and Michael are talking in a way where, how do you say that? Like, okay, let's put it that, right? The Pope made a decision that he's gonna be transferred, and then you see Michael and the Pope talking, and like, okay, well, they're really close, and that's possibly why he changed his mind. So we have the supper, the government employees come in to pressure the Pope into being there, but then he's talking about Toledo, right? And you learn, okay, so you learn what really happened in Toledo. So this is crazy. So the Warren, like I said, he protected his kid, and his kid was his own son. But he didn't know that he was his own son. They had a different name. So what happened is the Pope had a relationship with someone who gave him a son, and later on the Pope discovered that, yo, this is my son, and he's in jail, so I'm gonna try to protect him. But as a Warren, he did two things. First of all, his kid got killed, right? And he was kind of not behind it, but he could have stopped it. He didn't. And second of all, he's like, I knew that was for my kid, and I didn't tell my wife. So that's why he wants to. This is why he's doing this, or he's afraid of this. So he takes the demand of Michael and puts it in the he puts it in the whatchamacallit. It sucks, bro. It sucks because I watched this yesterday and I'm supposed to remember, but I don't. You put the paperwork in the you know when you break paper, when you put paper in a machine that goes bzzz, and then your paper is completely destroyed. First of all, the chick turns. So we got Sarah and Lincoln together, and Sarah learns that Michael is his brother, and then he said, "Why didn't you tell me that he was his brother, and that he was your brother?" It's like, oh well, we weren't really close. We weren't really close growing up. We separated a lot. And Sarah's like, okay, well, this is why. See, this is insane because Michael comes in, and this is why Sarah's a great character. Because people are like, okay, well, there's something to Michael. He shouldn't be in jail. There's a reason why he's there. And Sarah learned that Lincoln is his brother. So then she figured out that Michael kind of wants to see his brother. That's why he's in jail. So it's actually quite a nice scene. It's actually quite a nice scene. That's pretty much it. You got Michael and Sucre. And this scene is kind of important because Sucre asks for details. And then Michael's like, no, don't worry about that. I'm going to take care of it. So why is that important? Later on, CPAC is going to come in the group and he'll tell Sucre, it's like, yo, how much is Michael telling you really? Do you trust him? So you need to install a moment where Michael isn't honest or transparent with Sucre. That way when Sucre is doubting if Michael is honest, it makes sense. And CPAC is like, does he really tell you everything? Or it's like, you don't need to know that. The less you know, the better it is. I don't get into Sucre's head. But I do trust Michael. Because Sucre's not a good liar, first of all. So, the Pope tells his story. And how he couldn't help his son because his son was a criminal. And he was so glad that he was gone, but he's my son and I love him. That's important. But Veronica, we wanted to see the original file. However, the file got destroyed by water. It got destroyed by water not too long ago. So this is kind of insane. That's pretty much it. Got Alex looking for Michael, and he doesn't count, and Michael isn't there. So kind of nuts, and he doesn't know what to do. And he says we're a runner. However, Michael is behind that, and he tells them that Michael is still it's still the warden office, right? So we know that Michael was back there, but he wasn't. So this is kind of ridiculous. Because we know that Michael escaped, and the craziest thing is they're having cars, they're looking for a runner. But Schofield would have not escaped alone. He would have brought Sucre or somebody else, right? So Michael wanted to go in because he was going to be transferred, so he kind of had to hurry up. But then he's back, and then he asked the Pope, "Hey, please help me. Please help me. We need 3 weeks to fix that. I can do it before the birthday." Okay, so that's pretty much it. So they came in the house of Veronica, and they took the doctored file. So the file that proved that and it was doctored, they took it, so they don't have proof anymore. Which is stupid because why not bring it to police right away? Stupid. Then Sucre is like, he tells Michael, like, what are we gonna do, Poppy? Doesn't say Poppy. Michael's like, we're done. and then he has confirmation that he could have done. He could have done it. Anything that was set out to do could have been done, which is super nice. So then Michael does the best thing he could have ever done, and it's very sweet. Very sweet. Michael takes the nail. He needs to open the thing, the screw, give it to Sucre, and he gives the name of the informant for Abruzzi to Sucre. So if Abruzzi come in and wants to hit Sucre, Sucre is protected. They'll lead him to a transfer, but the Pope saved him, and he's like, no, he's not being transferred. So then the Pope tells his wife everything, which is kind of cool. We got the consequences of everybody. For example, the Pope comes in and he tells his wife. Then on the next scene is Kellerman comes in and he tells the boss, and the Pope did the right thing. Sorry, again, it's kind of complex because I'm not saying everything, but at the same time, I watched this yesterday and I forget already. So in episode 6, Riot Dress and the Devil, Michael is trying to gain some time and cause a lockout, which evolved into a riot. Kellerman is charging he's charging somebody to kill Lincoln. Like, if the Pope is not gonna kill Lincoln, I'm gonna kill him. I need to kill him right now. So he goes in, Kellerman comes in, and he had one of his old co-workers. Not explaining he's a co-worker, but they used to work together. And he's like, yo, I need you a favor. And it's like, I'm not gonna help you. And then he said, okay, well, I have some evidence on me, and you're an ex-drug addict. I want to charge you with possession. That's pretty much it. So we got more of Michael. Michael says, I need more time. Michael said, the thing that I need to do, I will not have the time. The fact that I come back, the time it takes me to come back, the time it takes me to go, I'm not have the time that I have. It was like, how can I have a riot? And it's Suga that tells him, like, yo, take out the AC and take out the AC and you'll get it. If you take out the AC, all will be fine. Michael is super smart. He does a tattoo of the devil, and if you put the horns, it'll give you 4 places where the wall is weak. And you take this out, they're done. So Nick Fuentes comes in with Veronica. It's just because you learn that Nick is a informant, so this sucks, which is possibly why he didn't have the tape. So Veronica's pushing, but you know that Fuentes is kind of trying to stop her. Not trying to stop her, but trying to at least slow her down. So the prison guards comes in and he tells Michael, and once again, it's too close, right? It's like, because he tells him, like, yo, there is no time for me to work. I'm not gonna be possible. And the more we wait, the more behind we are, right? So Jenna Brucey comes in, and what is super cool is you kind of come in, and you listen to the conversation. The conversation is one of the Kellerman who asked Lincoln to get killed. So then Sarah told him, I'm talking about your brother, which means that she cares about Michael in this way. And it's super cool. You get the crew of CPAT, right? And they're doing more. So for example, right here they got a potato matcher, and it's $100, right? Now, what is also super insane, you see everybody gets an emotion, right? CPAT is part of it. You got the next scene, which is Theodore Bagwell, who is back, right? And he has a new cellie, which is this guy. This guy's gonna be super important because he's gonna end up being a moral. So Theodore is a bad guy, but he's not the worst guy. No, he's a horrible, but he didn't do anything to people. For example, you're gonna take it out on the new guy. He doesn't take it out on Michael or on Brucey. So whenever he does something, it's kind of his business. The small guy is gonna make it Michael's business. Then Michael comes in. He's really what do you call it? Exploring the tunnels, right? Veronica and Fuentes, they come in and they talk to Lincoln, and they say, yo, we know that you didn't do it. Do you know why somebody would want him dead? Do you know why he would want you dead? It's like, no, I don't know. The guy came in, offered me a large sum of money just to be there, just to be able to frame me. Now, we later learned that their father is part of it. Now, we got Sucre coming in and telling, yo, it's really warm outside. It's really, really, really warm outside. And you kill the AC, but you also turn on the surface. the furnace. Sorry. So Theodore comes in, and this is cool because this is how you kind of imply that Theodore's an important inmate. Because he comes in and it's like, yo, this is very warm in here. I want the AC. And there's a crazy cool scene where we know that Theodore's a racist. We know that he's, well, not the guy, but the character. I have to charge the phone. I have to charge the phone, otherwise I'll close and I won't be done. So it's something is wrong. It's not a big deal because of it. I'll be okay. Diet pills, surgery, Photoshop pictures in magazine, telling them how they should be. It doesn't make sense to me, cause everybody's going crazy. So for example, we know that Theodore's a racist, or Teabag is a racist. So when he tells there's this inmate that's black, that when he came in this morning he was white. Which is kind of crazy because that's blatant racism. But since the inmates are like in the same position and like, yo, need to get out of here, they kind of put themselves together. And that's kind of cool. Nothing unites that could come an enemy. We got more Bellic and Sarah. Now this makes sense because they're gonna do a flashback episode soon, and the flashback is how Bellic kind of had a thing for Sarah. So now we got the scene. The problem is there's three police and there's 7 people. There's a lot of inmates, so they create a lockdown, right? And Teabag is going there, so he's provoking. Bellic ends up hitting him because that he provokes too much. T-Bone. So T-Bone creates a riot, and he goes in and he shakes off the whatchamacallit, I would say fence, right? And then they find the keys, and then they have access to the whole jail, which is insane because there's so many more inmates than other people. Okay, cool. What else? So we got more of Nick of Veronica Lincoln, right? Lincoln says you don't have shit. You're not really doing it, and he's like, yeah, we have something, but it's not enough. So it's cool because these scenes are kind of worthless. Because you're telling Lincoln, like, hey, we got nothing. But however, it does show that they Lincoln has information from the background. Now, I would like to see, I would really like to see Lincoln going back to Michael, taking the information and saying, Michael, say it won't work. I went to that route, because he said that to Veronica. But there's not that scene, so the whole thing seemed pointless. They do find the keys, and then they have a riot. They go in the infirmary. The importance is we know that Sarah Tancredi is the daughter of a vice admiral, or something super important, and she's in danger. So a priority is her. Which again, saving a doctor versus something insane. This is a very cool scene, one of my favorite scenes. Ken is stuck with this guard, right? He apologized, and Lincoln said, "Don't apologize. It makes you look weak." We talked about that before. So Lincoln is very much taking care of the guards, and instead of seeing anybody riot, and instead of joining the riot or the prisoner, right? He goes in and is like, "Yo, fuck that. I'm gonna help you out." Now, it's kind of crazy because on one hand, he's trying to help out, on the other hand, trying to escape. So, Michael will have his tattoo, and they put the hole in the wall, which is important. They have this whole prison. And the funniest thing is, the guard says, yo, I don't have that good of a salary, you can do it. So they're going for Sarah Tancredi. Why? She's a woman. They're possibly just horny. So that's pretty much it. They're showing the X. They're gonna destroy the wall. The warrant goes in attack form. The father of Sarah Tancredi said, "You need to save my daughter," and you got Sucre who's working really hard on doing this. It's kind of cool because the tattoo of a prison break is insanely smart, right? And more so, you see this, but you also see a very cool friendship scene between Michael and Sucre, who's like, yo, how all that stuff? It's like, I study for it. I practice. We got Tio Teabag, who attacks the guard that was helping Lincoln, and then you push him into Sucre and Michael's cell. Because you push him in Michael and Sucre's cell, you see that holy shit, they're trying to escape. So now he knows about the plan. People are going to get Sarah. They're just like, yo, we need to get to her. We need to get to her. We're going faster. Jonah Bruzzi, and that's what I love. Jonah Bruzzi goes in, and instead he's trying to kind of protect Michael and Sucre. Like, you don't say shit. Now he has intent. He has like, yo, I can actually be of use to you guys. But it's more so like you don't fuck it up for these guys. So that I appreciate. Sarah does a Shanks, which is kind of insane. And this is the end of the episode. The end of the episode is actually pretty cool because we see the main character goes in. Sarah, she's stuck in a room. You got Lincoln, who's following Turks. Turk is a guy we saw in the video say, hey, follow me, I'll show you Michael. You got Teabag and Jenna Brucey fighting. And you got Michael and Sucre saying, yo, what did he see? And he saw the whole thing. Now the biggest problem is the police guard was there, so he saw the escape plan also. So the problem is that Teabag said we should have to kill him. We have to kill him, we have to kill him, we have to kill him. And Michael's like, no, we don't kill anybody. And the problem with that scene is you don't really see what the others think. You don't see what a character like Sucre think. You don't know what Jonah Bruzzi feels like. There's 4 characters, which is Theodore, Michael, Sucre, Abruzzi. You got the opinion of Michael, which is good. You got the opinion of Teabag, which is bad. There's one good, one bad. You got 2 more characters, and you don't know where to stand. I personally think Sucre will stand with Michael's like, no, don't kill him. However, for Abruzzi, I don't know. Anyway, that's pretty much it. 2 episodes and 22 minutes, not bad.